All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this time to take a look at certain attributes of a mouthpiece that can help contribute to your facility of playing Altissimo. I'll also go over what certain attributes do in general when playing a mouthpiece. And the first one that I want to bring up is this Autolink. This is about 15 to 20-year-old Autolink. It's not a vintage mouthpiece, but I do want to show you this baffle. This is a very typical Autolink baffle. Nothing particularly special going on. It's very open. As far as this baffle, it generally gives a very open kind of sound. These sidewalls here are concave. That's used to fatten the sound up. These rails here are what I would call medium. The thicker these rails are, generally, the more resistant it's going to be, giving you a kind of a fatter sound in general. This window here, on some mouthpieces, this is square, or there's some more exotic design that's here, allowing for an increased type of airflow. One thing that I always look for in a mouthpiece is the inside of this chin area here. I like to use the kind of terminology that translates well into other languages by YouTube's algorithms. Okay, so if I look on the inside here, you can see what kind of thickness is there on the inside. Let's compare that to this mouthpiece. This is a Rico Metalite. Look at how thick that is there. It's pretty even also. This is going to interrupt the airflow, causing it to be more resistant. Usually on hard rubber and plastic mouthpieces, these rails are thicker, giving you an increased amount of resistance. You can see this has a very, very exotic baffle design. I think this is concave here. I've always struggled with playing Altissimo on these Rico mouthpieces, and I attribute that to this really unusual wedge type baffle. All right, let's take a look at the very tip, what we call the tip rail, and let's compare that to this Chinese mouthpiece that I have here. You can see how really, really thin that is. You can see that these rails are very medium, and it does not have an exotic baffle design at all. It's pretty open. It has these flat sidewalls here. Take a look at that inside chin area. See if that's got a wedge shape or not. Okay. I want to talk about this mouthpiece for a second, because look at how thick these side rails are. This is obnoxiously thick. This mouthpiece costs $10. I got this one. This is a Chinese made mouthpiece. I just did a video on what I think about products that are coming from China, and I do want to clarify something, that it's not so much that these mouthpieces come from China, it's that we cannot research these products. That's the issue that I have. If I cannot research a product that I want to buy and put in my mouth in 2020, in the day and age of information, I want nothing to do with it. However, with this mouthpiece, this is acrylic, and I can research acrylic. So I'm thinking about either reposting the video that I did of this, the review, and or doing another review of this mouthpiece, because I've been having some fun with this thing recently. I only feel like I'm limited by the tip opening of this mouthpiece. Okay, but these really thick side rails here definitely attribute to this mouthpiece's resistance, and I'll talk about that a lot. Okay, let me show you these two mouthpieces that I feel are the absolute Altissimo kings. One is this T35 Van Doren V5 mouthpiece, and the other one is this Pi TT TXX7 mouthpiece. This is by no means an actual 7 on the Autolink scale. This is another Chinese mouthpiece, a Chinese made mouthpiece that I have a difficult time researching. I'll pull this video down also, but this is one of the easiest mouthpieces to play Altissimo on. And the only thing I can really attribute this mouthpiece and this mouthpiece as having in common with their facility of playing Altissimo is the inherent amount of resistance. So when it comes to playing Altissimo on any of these mouthpieces, the one thing that I am left with more than anything is what is the inherent amount of resistance within that mouthpiece. The tip opening doesn't really tell you that. That's a general idea. The facing curve is another very important general idea. But as far as the baffle goes, in my opinion, these auto links are spectacular. I have 3 auto links. Actually, I have 4 auto links, a hard rubber and 3 metals. They're all really good for playing Altissimo, a low to no baffle. This is my T45. This is a fantastically aggressively baffled mouthpiece. It does play Altissimo very well, but you know what? It doesn't play Altissimo better than the T35 there. So a lot of people, I know they swear by their mouthpiece playing Altissimo well because it has a high baffle. But think about this. Classical saxophonists, they don't play high baffle mouthpieces. They don't play mouthpieces that have some obnoxiously large tip opening either. But yet, the best classical saxophone players can play Altissimo very, very well because of the inherent amount of resistance that's in classical saxophone mouthpieces. So this is the kind of thing that you definitely want to aim for. I'm going to give you guys a list of what I think the least expensive good mouthpieces to learn Altissimo are. And I just recently bought myself one of these Claude Lakeys for tenor. This is really popular for alto when I was in high school and college. It does not come with this ligature here, but this mouthpiece is really good at playing Altissimo. $85, man. Okay. I'm going to show you guys some video clips of me playing these various mouthpieces, and ultimately you can judge for yourself. So, all right, let's get to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that by watching this video, you can be much more aware of the different attributes of a mouthpiece that can play into your ability to play Altissimo. Not just the tip opening or the material that the mouthpiece is made of. Back in the day when I was growing up, it was hard rubber that was your dark mouthpiece, and you had to get a metal if you wanted a bright mouthpiece. Nowadays, modern manufacturing is just spectacular. Now, the brightest mouthpieces that I have are hard rubber mouthpieces. I would have never in a million years thought that. So, one of the things that I definitely look for when I'm gauging the altissimo worthiness of a mouthpiece is definitely that inside chin area and seeing how thick that is, if it's walled or if it's ramped. Another thing is the thickness of the side rails. I don't really play a lot of high baffle mouthpieces anyway, but those are the kind of things just take into account and understand. I'm going to come back to this a lot. Mouthpiece manufacturing nowadays is so good, by the best in the business. They can really dial in a whole lot of these things. So you'd see like a thin railed mouthpiece, but then they'd have like that thick inside chin area to kind of beef things up. In general, the more aggressively baffled a mouthpiece is, the lower the tip opening feels. So you got to go by the feel. And luckily today, a lot of these mouthpiece manufacturers and a lot of these places where we can buy these mouthpieces offer us a nice kind of trial period where you can try it, see if you like it, and then return it. So that's always going to ultimately be my best recommendation for you if you are curious about a mouthpiece. The second thing I want to talk about is I hope that in the future, mouthpiece makers can just give us more information. If we go to the website, show us all these different angles of the mouthpiece so we can just get a better idea of what it is that we want to pick out. And I'm going to throw a third one in here, the future of mouthpieces. I still do think that 3D printing is probably going to be the future and having a cheaper way of making mouthpieces. A lot of you guys have asked me to review some Sios mouthpieces, but ultimately, I don't know if I want to invest that much money in plastic, especially since there's a lot of 3D metal printing that's coming out, and it looks like stainless steel is going to be the initial way to go with that. So if somebody starts doing stainless steel mouthpieces, 3D printing with my own type of specifications that I can get, maybe I'll wait for that a little bit. But I do know some guys that are interested in some Sios mouthpieces, so if they have one, maybe I'll try it out for you guys or something like that. But all right, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching.